Hello and welcome back to another Art Fabula video. In today's video I'm going to talk about something that you and me and everyone is talking about in the news. You know what's happening in the USA, you know what's happening with that president, and you know what's happening with the toy community and who is affecting these tariffs. This is something that is getting bigger and bigger and is getting more and more complicated, and is affecting me as a toy producer, is affecting you as a buyer, and is affecting everyone in the USA, Europe and the Chinese market. In which way are the tariffs affecting the toy community? Well, as you have seen, Super Plastic, one of the biggest toy producers in the world, is closing its shop and is closing its toy production. This because it's impossible for them to buy more Chinese toys and sell them in the USA. The same as COS, for example, and other toy producers. It's going to be very, very difficult for them to continue this market. And this affecting the buyers also, the collectors, the people that want to buy their toys outside the USA and import them to the USA. These tariffs are affecting, well, everywhere. So if you are imposing tariffs in Europe and I produce my toys here in Europe and sell them to you, you will get, if you live in the USA, those tariffs. It's not something that I can't avoid, it's something that is being imposed by the President of the United States. I don't want to talk about politics, this is not what this channel is about. I just wanted to talk about the situation and how everything is going to be more complicated and how we can solve everything together, if we can solve it. So those tariffs are going to change the world of the collectors. I'm from Europe. I produce my toys in both China and the majority in Japan. So those toys are going to be sent to me and I'm going to continue paint them and I'm going to sell them everywhere in the world, USA too. So the tariffs you're going to get from me is only the tariffs imposed to Europe because I'm producing the toys here in Sweden. So maybe it's not 250% like in China, but it's maybe, I don't know, I don't even know how much is right now in the European Union. I think it's something like 10%. I'm not sure about that. I'm not going to raise my price, of course not. Maybe lower them a little bit just to help everyone. But this is going to affect, of course, my sales for my fans in the United States, but also not only my toys, but everyone's toys, especially if you produce your toys in the Chinese market. So I'm not sure what to do. I'm not sure in which way this is a good thing or not, and how it's going to help the USA market. Maybe we are going to produce more toys there in the USA. They are going to open more and more factories in the USA and produce more toys there. I don't know. I hope so. But in my case, I don't have anything to do with that. The only thing I'm very, very sad is that my fans, that my people that want to buy an Art Fabula toy, well, it's going to be a little bit expensive. And I don't know how it's going to be in the future because I have heard that this president is going to put more and more tariffs on the European market, on everywhere in the world. So everything is going to be expensive. So I understand if you don't have the money to buy toys, I understand that, and it's going to affect me as a toy producer. But that's how it is. What I wanted to do is, of course, open the market to other parts of the world. Open Art Fabula for example, more in the European market. I would like to have more fans in the European market. So I need you to help me because this is balance. What I'm doing everything for hand. It takes time, money. It's very, 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 very well, difficult to make, and it's something that I've been put in a lot of energy, a lot of time. So I can lower the price a little bit, But then again, this is something manual. This is art. This is something that takes time and effort, and well, you know how it is. So I don't need to explain myself. I'm not selling toys, but I'm selling these sofubi toys. So, well, this is how it is. The world is getting crazier. The market is getting crazier. I'm not sure how it's going to be for the toy collectors out there. It's going to be more and more difficult for the collectors and for the sellers to sell the toys. I hope that this thing that is happening doesn't kill the community. I'm hoping that it doesn't happen, because that could be the worst thing that could happen here. But I hope also that people, that the collectors and the fans are trying to reach the artists also, because a lot of artists are going to sell their toys. It's going to be very difficult for them to sell their toys. It's going to be very difficult to produce the toys in China, for example. And it's, well, something that is bad for everyone. Because what we need to understand is that yes, of course, I understand the idea behind the tariffs. Of course, I understand the idea behind the tariffs. The theory is that if you make more difficult to get something from the outside, then you will try to produce these things here in the inside. So if you buy for cheap something from China, you won't be buy the same thing from the USA. So if you put some kind of limit in this import from China, then the theory says that you will increase the production in the USA. But the problem is that for around 40 years here in Europe, in the USA, we have been exporting the construction, the everything to other countries. So we have been losing the knowledge to make things. For example, to make this burger. This is going to be very, very difficult to make here in the Europe. Very, very difficult. And I have the most clear example about this. I produce Captain Bebop here in Sweden, not in Sweden, in Spain. I produced a toy here in Europe, and I thought, well, Spain has always been, since the 50s and the 60s, one of the biggest toy makers in the European Union. So maybe if I produce my toys here in those old factories, I can create one of the biggest toys and make everything here in Europe as I wanted to do. That was one of the biggest mistakes I made in my life. Of course, one of the biggest mistakes I made in my life. I understood that the people that tried to create the toy, didn't know how to do it. Everything, and I lose a lot of money because, well, they don't even know how to make the connections with the hands and articulations and all these kind of things. If I send this toy to China, they are going to produce one of the biggest and better toys ever produced for Art Fabula. And that's because they have been working with this for 40 years. They know, they have the knowledge. So of course I understand, you will have to get back the knowledge, but it's going to take 30 years, 40 years again to get it back. So it's not going to happen from one night to another night. So it's going to take a lot of time. And in the meantime, you are going to kill a lot of producers and a lot of, well, toy makers and people and business and everything. And I'm not sure what is the best thing. Well, I know what is the best thing. The best thing is, for me, is an open market. I want you from the USA, I want you from Japan, I want you from Singapore, from China to buy my toys. I want me to buy the toys produced in China, to produce in Japan, to buy the products here in Sweden. I wish I could produce my toys here in Sweden. I want to produce my toys in Sweden, but we don't have the capacity, we don't have the knowledge. It's nearly impossible, but I wish we will have, but we don't. So what do? Well, don't produce toys? Of course not. I will continue to produce toys. In Japan, they know how to do sofubi toys. In Japan, they are knowledge. They have been working with this thing all their lives since the 60s. So of course I know. So that's what I'm trying to say. The tariffs, I don't know. I'm not sure if I like. No, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like the tariffs. So I don't want to see more tariffs. But it's not about the politics. It's about the theory and the realities. Two things that it's not working very well here. So, and it's affecting me and it's affecting everyone. So what do you think about this issue? It's right here in the comment section, please, because we can have a big discussion. And don't make a political thing. This is not about Trump. It's not about these kind of things. Of course it's about Trump. But I mean, the most important things is talk about the theory, how the tariffs will affect the community. Talk about the toys. Talk about why you, if you live in the USA, how do you see this collecting things and how will affect you as a collector? Well, you from everywhere else, and not only from the USA, talk to, right? Give your opinion, but please. We are adults here. Don't make a mess in the section, because I will cut the comments if we make a mess. And Trump, anti-Trump, nothing like that. Please, we are adults here. So thank you very much for this video. I just needed to get everything out from me. I hope you understand what I mean, and I hope you understand what the situation is. You will get more news about this issue very soon, I assume. Thank you very much for being here. See you soon. Bye.